Hey everybody, it's Brian from Cruisin with the Colemans, and I am here today in beautiful Buck Creek State Park. Look at that lake behind our campsite. We are doing some spring projects, getting ready for another full camping season. And today I'm going to do a kind of simple project here. This is the mini plumbing vent from RecPro, and it's going to replace my old tank vent. The nice advantage to this one, it's got a little solar panel on top, and it's a completely isolated system. It doesn't have to plug into anything because this solar panel powers a little fan that helps to suck some of those fumes out of the tank, so that maybe it'll help eliminate a little bit of that odor that we get from time to time in the RV from a gray tank or a black tank that's a little stinky. So let's get this started. In the package, it's a super simple installation. In the package, I've got a little pack of screws, and the vent itself, you can see that little solar panel, and then you've got the fan here inside. Once the sun hits this full on, it powers it up. You can see it's starting to power it up a little bit right now. And it's just gonna take a couple of screws in and should be as easy as cake to install. The first challenge though is gonna be getting this old vent off, which means I've got to remove all of this self-leveling sealant. Let's get started. Have you ever seen the blue stick tool from RecPro and wondered what in the heck it's for? It's a great little tool. It's got two flat edges that are beveled, and it's good for like tucking seals back in or something behind a tight area. Also is good because it's non-damaging to get started on pulling this sealant. When you're pulling that sealant off, you don't need to clear every single bit of it off. And you also want to be careful that you're prying it slowly and not just trying to rip it up, because that could separate your roof membrane from the surface underneath, and it could also tear your roof membrane, which is obviously going to cause a much bigger problem than we want to deal with. All I really need to do is make sure I've revealed the edge of this and all of the screws so that I can remove them. Now we're going to very carefully work to kind of pry this up. Let's cut along the edge. The footprint of my new vent is actually larger than the footprint of this vent, but either way, it's still gonna just cover this area, so it'll be fine, but it does mean I'm gonna have to remove a little bit more of this leveling sealant. I don't need to get every single bit of that self-leveling sealant off. I just need to get a relatively flat, level surface so that this can all attach. And if you do happen to cut or tear a couple of spots in your roof membrane, don't worry too much about that. You're gonna cover the whole thing with butyl tape, and of course we're gonna re-seal it all with self-leveling sealant. So that's gonna help protect any issues you have. My old screw holes here, I am also gonna fill in with some self-leveling sealant just to help protect them. This butyl tape is kind of like a plumber's putty. It never really totally hardens, so it stays tacky, and when you screw through it, it helps draw the butyl tape gets drawn into the screws, so it helps to kind of seal your area. So I've got that ready to set in place. I'm gonna use my first tube of self-leveling sealant. Just tap over those bits of holes that I had here. That's gonna help cover up those areas where I happen to have a little bit of slice in my roof membrane. That way that's gonna help seal those up. Now I just need to kind of set this in place. Press it down nice and snug. If any of that butyl tape is sticking out from the edge, don't worry about it. You can either trim it off, but remember it is all gonna get covered up with self-leveling sealant in the end as well. You can hear that fan starting to work just because of the little bit of sunlight it's getting right now. We're parked underneath some trees, so I've got mottled sunlight. Now I've got the 5 screws that came with the unit. I'm gonna go ahead and use these new screws. One thing you want to make sure is to not tighten these screws down too tight because you might crack this. Remember, they're not the only thing holding this onto the roof of your RV as you're driving down the road. Really, that self-leveling sealant that's going to be covering this entire edge and the screw holes, that's going to be keeping it totally secure. Only thing I have to do now is cover all this up with a fresh tube of sealant and the project is done. Oh, and I have one more vent to do in the back. This one goes to my gray tank, the other one goes to my black tank. I want to make sure that I cover all of my screw holes and cover all of the seals all the way around the edge. So I'm just going to really kind of goop a lot of this on. The nice thing about the self-leveling sealant is that you just put a big bead of it here and then it'll just kind of fill in all the gaps. I do like to always kind of tool the edges of it because I want to make sure that I don't have any low spots here connected to the plastic where water might collect and then work its way through. So I just kind of tool around the edge to make sure that this has got a little bit of a raised edge here where it meets the plastic. Then I'm also going to kind of smooth this edge down a little bit. Again, just to make sure I've got a seal. A little bit more right here. Well, that installation was definitely a piece of cake. Everything is now done and ready to go. I can actually hear the fan working right now in the sun. And I've checked from the inside and there's no sound coming inside where it's gonna be an annoying little hum in the background. Take a look at the description down below. I've got links for the fan, the butyl tape, and the sealant. And make sure you mention Colemans at checkout to get 5% off at RecPro. Let them know that we sent you there. Thanks for watching. Check out all of our other videos on how-tos, helpful hints, modifications, and we'll see you out on your next adventure.